The Good Samaritan and the Samaritan Woman, a Torah and Messiah perspective. Shalom, brothers and sisters and all people of Yah's earth. Today, we're diving into two key encounters in Scripture, the parable of the Good Samaritan and Yahushua's, Jesus' conversation with the Samaritan woman at the well. These stories are often misunderstood, especially regarding who the Samaritans were and how we should treat Gentiles as well as our brothers and sisters in the faith. By looking at these stories through the lens of Torah and Messiah's teachings, we can uncover the deeper message about love, righteousness, and the role of Israel. To understand these passages, we must first identify who the Samaritans were. Many assume they were Gentiles, but Scripture tells us otherwise. The Samaritans were a mixed people descendants of the northern kingdom of Israel, Ephraim and the 10 tribes, who intermarried with Assyrians and other foreign nations after the Assyrian exile, 2 Kings 17:24-41. They worshipped YaHuWaH, the Lord, but also followed pagan customs, leading to their separation from Judah, the Yahudim Jews. They still identified as descendants of Jacob, as seen in the Samaritan woman's words to Yahushua. The Jews considered them impure and unworthy, yet Yahushua did not reject them. In Acts 10:9-16, Peter had a vision of a sheet filled with unclean animals and was told, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." Many mistakenly believe this means the dietary laws were abolished, but Acts 10:28 explains the true meaning, "God has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean." This vision was about associating with Gentiles and sharing the gospel with them, not about changing the food laws. Yahushua, Jesus himself, upheld the dietary laws, and they remain in effect. Leviticus 11:7-8. "And the swine, though it divides the hoof, yet does not chew the cud, it is unclean to you. You shall not eat their flesh, nor touch their dead carcasses." Isaiah 66:17. "Those who sanctify themselves and purify themselves to go to the gardens after an idol in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse, shall be consumed together, says YaHuWaH, the Lord." Yahushua, Jesus, warned against eating unclean foods, reaffirming the Torah's dietary laws, Matthew 5:17-19. Recent studies have revealed genetic modifications in livestock, including experiments where mouse DNA has been spliced into pig genetics for disease resistance and organ growth. This manipulation of YaHuWaH's, the Lord creation, further corrupts the natural order, making consuming swine even more dangerous. Genetically engineered pigs. Scientists have experimented with gene-editing pigs using CRISPR technology, sometimes involving rodent DNA. Hybrid animal practices. These experiments have raised ethical concerns about mixing species that YaHuWaH, the Lord, originally separated. Biblical connection. This aligns with the prophecy in Isaiah 66:17, which specifically warns about those who eat both swine's flesh and the mouse being judged. Thus, while the Samaritans were considered impure due to their mixed heritage and worship, Yahushua, Jesus, reached out to them without compromising Torah. Luke 10:25-37 tells the famous parable of the Good Samaritan, where a man is beaten, robbed, and left for dead. A priest and a Levite pass him by, but a Samaritan stops and helps him. The Torah teaches loving our neighbor as ourselves, Leviticus 19:18. Helping someone in distress, even if they are a stranger, is a righteous act, Deuteronomy 22:4. The priest and Levite failed in their duty to uphold the Torah by ignoring a suffering man. The Samaritan, despite being viewed as an outcast, fulfilled the Torah by showing mercy. Yahushua, Jesus, used this parable to redefine who a neighbor is. It's not about nationality, but about righteousness. He challenged religious hypocrisy. The priest and Levite had knowledge, but no love. This aligns with Matthew 23:23, where Yahushua, Jesus, rebukes leaders for neglecting justice, mercy, and faithfulness. The Torah and Yahushua, Jesus, both emphasize that loving our neighbor means action, not just words. John 4:1-26 records Yahushua's, Jesus' conversation with the Samaritan woman at Jacob's well. She is often assumed to be a Gentile, but her own words challenge that assumption. She tells Yahushua, Jesus, "Our father Jacob gave us this well." John 4:12. If she claims Jacob as her ancestor, that means she is of Israelite descent. She is not a Yahudim, Jew, but she descends from the northern tribes. The Torah says Israelites who turn from YaHuWaH, the Lord, will be scattered but not forgotten. Deuteronomy 4:27-31. The lost sheep of Israel include those from the northern kingdom who mixed with other nations. Jeremiah 31:20. She represents the lost sheep that Yahushua, Jesus, came to call back. Matthew 15:24. Yahushua, Jesus, acknowledges her Israelite ancestry but corrects her mixed worship. John 4:22. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we do know, for salvation is of the Jews. Yahushua, Jesus, was born from the tribe of Judah, fulfilling the prophecies of the Messiah. Genesis 49:10, Micah 5:2. The covenant and promises were given to Israel, and through them, Yahushua came to bring salvation to all nations. Romans 9:4-5. The phrase, "salvation is of the Jews," does not mean salvation is only for the Jews, but rather that the Messiah, who is the source of salvation, came through the Jewish lineage. Isaiah 49:6, YaHuWaH, the Lord, says, "It is too small a thing for you to be my servant, to restore the tribes of Jacob and bring back those of Israel I have kept. I will also make you a light for the Gentiles, that my salvation may reach to the ends of the earth." John 3:16, for YaHuWaH, the Lord, so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Thus, Yahushua, Jesus, came first to the lost sheep of Israel, Matthew 15:24, but extended salvation to all who believe in him, Jew and Gentile alike, Galatians 3:28, Romans 10:12. He offers her living water, symbolizing the restoration of Israel. The Samaritan woman wasn't a random Gentile, she was part of Israel, but lost in mixed worship. Yahushua, Jesus, came to bring her and others like her back into the fold. What do you think? Let's discuss in the comments. Remember to keep comments respectful. Hope this resonates with all you brothers and sisters and all people on the four corners of Yah's earth. Much love from my house to yours. Shalom!